Hello guys, so today we are going to start another chapter that is money. In this chapter we will discuss meaning, functions of money, bartering system, the functions of central banks, stock exchanges and the functions of commercial banks. Now let's start with the meaning of money. Money, as you can see, is anything which can be used as a medium of exchange against the purchase of goods and services. In the modern society, the money has to be a legal tender, which means that it has to be issued by the bank or by the government. So, there are some characteristics of money, which includes durability, which means that the money that you are possessing shall be long lasting and its value should not deplete over time. So durability also means that the money you are having should be non-perishable. Now another thing is the acceptability. The money which you are using should be recognized and accepted as a medium of payment for goods and services. For money to be acceptable, it has to be a legal tender, as we earlier discussed in the definition of the money. So, if you are asked in 2 marks definition that describe money, then you can use this definition that it is a medium of exchange and it can be used as a legal tender. Now, money should be divisible, which means that it can be used to value goods and services. So, for example, a pencil can be of 10 rupees and a chair can be of 5,000 rupees or 5,500 rupees. So, these are the small units in which the money can be divided to calculate the exact value of that particular good and service. There is another characteristic that is uniformity. For uniformity, this means that the money should be uniform within the country, which means that the shape, size, and the design of the money should be same within the country, so that people can easily recognize that it is the legal tender and it is the legal tender and it is the medium of exchange that they can use to give their goods against. Now, money should be scarce. This means that it cannot be anything which is freely available. If you find pebbles on road, so this means that those pebbles are not scarce. So the pebbles can never be used as a money. So only if the money is scarce, then will people value it. Point number now, portability means that money should be anything which you can easily carry in your pockets and carry it everywhere. Now, let's talk about the functions of money. So, there are 4 key functions of money that are money acts as a medium of exchange, money as a measure of value, money as a store of value, and money as a standard of deferred payment. Now, as a medium of exchange, the money should be anything which can be used as a medium of exchange for conducting trade, which means that by giving money, you should be able to avail any good or avail any service. For this, money should be widely recognized and accepted as a payment for goods and services. Now, money as a measure of real value, this means that money should be used as a unit of account, which also means that it should be able and capable of calculating the market value of different goods and services in its exact price. So, for which you can buy those goods and services against. So, the third function is that money should be used as a store of value. So, if you store your money today, so you should be able to use it in the future, and that means that your money has the purchasing power over the time. However, when economies suffer inflation, so money loses its store of value. The fourth function that is important for money is that it should be used as a standard of deferred payment, which means that you can use money to give and take debt. For example, loan taken today are repaid at money at some time in the foreseeable future. Now let's discuss the barter system and the need for money. Barter system is a process in which a person will give a good and in against that he will take another good. So, for example, oranges against apple, apple again, or sofas against chairs, or mobile against laptop. So you give mobile to someone, and in return you took laptop. So this means that you give one good, and you and against you return take another good. However, the problem over here is the double coincidence of wants. That means that the product you are trying to give, the other person should be willing to take that product, and the other person, the product which the other person is offering, you should be willing to take that product. So for for this double coincidence of wants, it is, if you take the probability of this is very less, because it is highly possible that whatever you are selling, the other person might not want it, but whatever the other person is selling to you, you might want to buy it. So, for barter system to be successful, double coincidence of wants is necessary. However, this is not possible, and this is why the barter system failed. Another problem with barter system is that there is the issue of divisibility. So, you cannot decide whether you should give half a sheep to someone, or two-thirds of a chicken in return of half of a sheep. So it is, this means that one person will gain an advantage over the other. Another problem is the portability. Unlike money, where you can easily keep the money in your pockets, the problem with the barter system is that you cannot keep the chicken in your pocket, or you cannot keep the sheep in exchange. So it will be difficult for you to travel the commodity with you. Hence, the barter system failed. So now the money will eliminate all these disadvantages, for because for if you have money, you do not need double coincidence of wants. You can just go and buy anything against the money. There is no problem of divisibility, like, because money can be used as a unit of account, or you can, in other words, you can also call it as a measure of value. And also money is portable, so you can keep it easily in your pockets. So bartering system was failed, and that is why money proved to be successful. Now let's talk about the functions of the central bank. Central bank exists in a country, and it has the monetary authority. Central banks control the monetary policies of a country, which includes money supply and the interest rates. So see, these are the two main functions which the central banks have. Now, let's talk about the key functions. So, as you can see, central bank issues banknotes and coins, and obviously because it has control over the monetary policy, which includes the money supply. Now, it is the government's bank, which means that central bank can give loan to the government as well when the government is in the fiscal deficit. Bankers bank, this means that the other factor is the bankers bank, which means that central bank can also provide loans to the commercial banks which exist in the economy. All the commercial banks will have to make their accounts in the central bank. Now, the lender of the last resort. Now, lender of the last resort means that the country goes out of cash. So, for example, if the commercial banks are facing severe financial difficulties, or your government is facing severe financial difficulties, so as a lender of the last resort, the central bank will provide financial assistance in such financial emergencies, so that your banks and the government will not collapse. So this is a very key role for the central bank, and these are the four main functions that the central banks provide. Now let's talk about the functions of the stock exchange. Stock exchange is an institutional marketplace where you can easily sell or buy the shares of a public limited company which is registered with the stock exchange. Now, what are the functions of the stock exchange? So first and foremost, it will help the businesses, the public limited companies, to sell their shares, which will help them to increase their share capital. So this will increase the inflow for the companies, so that they can finance themselves. Now, facilitating company growth. What does the stock exchange do is that when a company will register itself with the stock exchange, so the company can perform the initial public offering, that is the IPO, where the company can issue its shares. And also, even after the IPO, after the company is already established and the IPO is conducted and completed, the company can still offer its shares in the future. So they can easily raise finance, and this will facilitate the company's growth. Now, stock exchanges can also help to sell the government bonds so that government can raise capital to fund their development projects. Now, let's discuss the price mechanism of trading shares. So, as we discussed in the demand and supply for any good, so similarly for shares, so the price of the shares is controlled by the demand and supply forces of the of the of the shares, and the people who are involved in the forces of demand and supply are known as the investors. And and when there is a price fluctuations in the shares, where you would have heard that a share might have reached an upper log or a lower log. This is because share prices are managed by the stock exchange. Finally, the stock exchange will make sure that the payments which are being done, and the transfer of shares and the transfer of payments which are is done, is all legal and all safe to perform. So this will boost the investors' confidence, hence helping the economy to grow. And also this will increase the capital formation, which is the overall investment which the investors are doing. Now let's talk about the commercial bank. Commercial bank is a retail bank that provides financial services to its customers. Now, when you go and open your account, so that is a commercial bank where you can have a savings account or a current account. Now, the primary functions of now let's discuss the primary functions of now let's discuss the primary functions of commercial bank. So you can see it will accept deposits, which means that if you have an account in a bank, in a commercial bank, you can go and deposit 5,000 rupees into your bank account. And not just you as a individual, any any businesses or government can also have their account open in any commercial bank, so they can easily deposit money. Second important function is that commercial bank can also provide loans to their customers. Another key factor is that the commercial bank will help in the credit creation, which means that the amount which the people deposits, so the commercial bank will provide that money to will will lend that money to the borrowers so that they are able to conduct their business activity, then they can repay the loan at any future time. So this helps the firms to finance. This will help the firm to finance themselves, and will also help the normal individuals to purchase any high ticket item. Hence, credit creation is very important function which the commercial bank performs. Okay, so here we have wind up our chapter of money, and now you can solve these questions and answer them in the comment section.